the Budhole Podcast.
Welcome to the Budhole. It's your chance. Do your dance at the Budhole.
Here's a hot take.
Guess who's back? Back again. Budhole's back. Tell your friends.
Budhole coming at you.
We just want to say before this thing starts, thank you so much to our loyal listeners, and here you go with another great Budhole podcast, brought to you by Starlamar, Brandon, Gage's Rage, and Scott on the Budhole Podcast Network.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Budhole Podcast. This week we're talking... Well, this episode, I should say. This week, we're talking a lot of things. We're going to be talking movie review on a horrible movie, but that'll be coming later in the week.
Hey, everyone has their own opinion. Don't call it a horrible movie.
I think I know who likes it.
All right, fine. Alien conspiracy episode coming later in the week, but this episode, we will be talking about NFL news as well as pretty much the Dynasty League draft that happened on Saturday.
Ooh, doggy, we got some stuff to talk about.
So...
It was fireworks for sure.
With that being said, what do you guys got going on?
Speaking of fireworks, stay safe this 4th of July with your fireworks because I know a lot of shows aren't going on. They canceled them. So people are going to be having fireworks at home. Just be safe. Make sure the person's at least half sober that's setting them off because we don't need more JPPs and house fires getting set. So that's the public service announcement from the Budhole about fireworks. Stay safe.
Light and run.
Words to the wise right there.
Speaking of that, we had fireworks last night go off at a house just down from ours at 10:05 at night. They let off fireworks for like 5 minutes and then we're done. So they either had the cops call on them or they wanted to stop before the cops got to their house.
Was it consistent for 5 minutes?
Yeah, nonstop.
Or they
Maybe
ran
that's just
out.
all they had, yeah. This is America, though. They can go get more.
Yeah. And I'm sure they will. Tonight
Not in
we'll
this
probably have
state,
the same
though.
thing.
Wisconsin's taxes are going up.
What, you guys don't like fountains and sparklers? Come on.
I like Roman candles and my friend's running away from me.
No aerial fireworks in Minnesota, boys. It's dangerous.
Follow the
You
law.
go 30 miles that way and you're clear.
You can do whatever the hell you want. Go to the
Safe.
bar and set them off there.
Set them off in the bar.
My neighbor at my parents' house does a pretty good show over the river. He gets his stuff from Wisconsin, and the 3rd of July is his night, and just
Let's 'em
goes
rip.
crazy. Oh, yeah, yep. They get the salutes, they're the 2, 3, 4 inch. The 4 inch are the ones that when they explode, you think your window is broke on your fucking house. They're so loud.
Oh, really?
It literally, you feel it in your chest. Those are the boomers.
That sounds terrible.
I
Yeah.
love fireworks.
Oh, they're just the best. So much
Speaking
fun.
of fireworks, yesterday the NFL had some fireworks set off when it was
right.
announced that the New England Patriots are signing Cam Newton to a 1-year deal. Your take on it, Brandon?
Saw it coming. Actually, what I heard was the Patriots were one of only 2 teams to actually talk to Cam Newton and the only team to offer him a contract. So the Browns talked to him and apparently weren't much fans or just didn't go well. I
That
didn't
would
like.
be a hell of a quarterback room. Baker, Case, and Cam.
I think one of them would be gone. Case for sure.
Case signed a 3-year deal just this offseason.
How much guaranteed, though?
I wonder why the Browns would even entertain the
it?
idea of Newton.
I wonder if they entertained it before Newton. Well, no, Newton got dropped late, didn't he? Released
It was not
After
that
they
months ago.
signed Teddy.
yeah.
It was after free agency, but before the draft, so it was a little bit ago now.
Do you have the details of the contract? I heard it's up to $7.5 million incentive laden. So pretty whack for being an MVP 5 years ago.
But the base salary is like the league minimum, I thought.
Yeah.
All right, so instant thoughts. Do you guys think he's week 1 starter?
I do.
I do.
It kind of takes away the Patriots trying to lose aspect of it.
Tank for Trevor.
Yeah, if they went in with Stidham, and then it might be competition. They might say it's open competition, and he has to earn this job. But that's rough. I mean, the dude's been injured.
Also, I saw his last 8 games, he's 0-8 as a starter.
It's team sport.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
Team sport, but quarterback led. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look, too, he has not been efficient. And for almost since his MVP season. The year after that, he was decent. And then since then, he's been He's not been an efficient
Been
quarterback.
injured.
Yeah, that was
He
what,
hasn't been able to run
2015?
Since, I would say, 2000, for the last 3 years, he's been not
Since
very
after the
good.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he missed all last year. So those 3 years, I think he said that he was injured the entire time. He wasn't like fully healthy at one point after that Super Bowl.
Because he had the car accident in training camp the 1 year. Was that before the Super Bowl or after?
I think you're thinking Big Ben.
Yeah. Motorcycle.
No, Cam Newton
No,
got in an accident
did.
in an Escalade.
It was on, there was a All or Nothing, I think, did a season with the Panthers. And it was on that season, so I think it was 2 seasons ago
Definitely
that
had to do
happened.
nothing. Spoiler alert.
He did
Star, what's your
nothing.
take on Cam Newton
So-
to New England?
This is going to be slightly controversial, and it's 100% in my head. I haven't read anything. I don't know the mindset of Bill Belichick or anything going on right now. But there have been a lot of efforts to get Colin Kaepernick signed recently. And the one team that everyone keeps pointing to as the best fit is the Patriots because of their need at quarterback. So all ESPN, NFL Network, all reporters on Instagram are saying, why aren't the Patriots signing him? They have a need at quarterback. They're going in with Stidham and Hoyer. It's pointless why they should sign him. So I'm wondering if this is kind of a, well, hey, we don't have a need at quarterback
Get the
anymore.
monkey off their back.
We got Cam Newton, for lack of a better term. Yeah. But so I don't know that was their thought process, but it may make the conversation stop for everyone saying they should be signing Kaepernick right now.
The other thing I heard, Belichick plays chess, right? So Belichick, I think what happens is if Cam Newton plays well and he leaves, they get a 2021 third. And they just lost a 2021 third in the Bengals scandal. So signing Cam Newton, if things go well, just replaces a draft pick for a 1-year potential replacement. If it goes better, maybe it's longer. But he's like, what, 31?
Yeah, he's not
He's
old.
same draft as Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, Colin Kaepernick, Andy Dalton. So half those guys aren't even in the league anymore. Some of them have been out of the league for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. He just turned 31 in May.
And Cam was the number 1 overall pick, right?
Yes, in 11.
Yep, he was. I don't know.
I wonder if they are going to be able to field the team they have currently after signing him, though. I know it's not a big deal, but is Tooney gone now?
I heard after this year they're going to have $80 million in cap space.
You
So
think
on the
they can
fantasy
keep
side of
everyone?
things, does Cam jump everyone up in value for you guys?
Edelman goes up.
Edelman? How about
Any
N'Keal
pass
Harry?
catcher or running back, I think, gets helped by this.
He likes his big, tall receivers. I think Sanu and Harry are not terrible options now,
I think it helps.
Sanu's
everybody.
excited about the signing.
without a doubt.
I really do. I think it helps everybody on the offensive side of the ball. If you're a pass catcher, if you're a running back, I think it helps them all. Sony Michel, Damian Harris is still a dark horse. James White. I think James White could be helped out a lot by this.
Hot take here. Julian Edelman, it does not help out. Cam Newton likes his receivers to be tall. Julian Edelman is not.
Like,
Harry's
think-
hurt him.
6'5", and Sanu's 6'2".
Yeah, I think he's going
Harry
to
that
rely
tall?
on those.
Harry's huge.
Cam Newton is known to overthrow his guys, and that's why in Carolina they brought in Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess and Greg Olsen and gave him some towers out there to throw the ball to. That's not Julian Edelman. So I have a feeling, and he never really developed a rapport with Moore either,
No.
who's not that tall.
No, he never did at all.
Kind
Or
of
Curtis Samuel.
overthrows.
Yeah.
But Moore was only there for a year, right?
Well, 2 with him, but 1 year he didn't even play it.
Correct.
Yes.
much of
So
it,
they
yeah.
only played together 1 year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Newton was hurt, so
That was his
with a rookie,
season.
I mean, plus Kelvin Benjamin, he's just lazy piece of shit.
I recently watched, they do that Hey Rookie, Welcome to the NFL type show. Have you guys seen that? But it just went through that entire receiving class. Was that 2014? That was
For, like-
Odell Beckham, Sammy Watkins, Mike Evans.
16, I think.
Yeah.
That was 16?
OBJ's got to be going into his 5th year.
I think
15,
he's
16,
further than
something
I
like
think he's
that.
going into his 6th year.
No, I think it was 16.
It was 14.
It was
14?
14.
He was on the cover of Madden in 16,
Okay.
I think is what it was.
So they were going back. Kelvin Benjamin was part of that one. Brandon Cooks, I believe, was part of that one. And one of the main focus throughout the rookie season was Kelvin Benjamin. So they thought he was going to be one of the guys that took off, as well as Jordan Matthews and stuff like that. At the time, looked like the best wide receiver rookie class of all time. Still may go down as it, but some of the guys that they had high hopes for, like Kelvin Benjamin and Jordan Matthews, have complete. Jarvis Landry was part of that one.
Landry's pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting some.
No, I think it's a good move by the Patriots. I think they gave him a few wins for sure. That quarterback play was not going to get him anything with Stidham and Hoyer.
I don't think so.
Even at a minimum, if you start Stidham, you at least have a quarterback to go to as a backup. And Newton, that's at least like he has a track record of being successful. Brian Hoyer doesn't have that. Hoyer's been a career-long backup.
I don't think Cam's going there to be a backup.
I don't either, but I'm just saying, like, if they do decide, we want to ride with Stidham because he plays good in the preseason, I mean, 2 bad weeks and it's going to be Cam Newton's show.
Yeah. Where do you think it brings their win total?
I think whatever it would have been, it changes at 1.5 games. So I think if they would have won 6, they'll now win 7.5, so they might win 8. But I don't think it changes them from a 6-win team to a 12-win team.
You think it puts them in the AFC East conversation now?
I still personally don't feel like they're as good as Buffalo, and I think Miami's still a dark horse just because their schedule is going to be pretty easy. They have a pretty good team. I would say that they're the second or third best option to win it, and I think Buffalo is still the clear-cut favorites.
It's such a... You have no idea what Cam's going to be.
Right.
We haven't seen him play in so long. If he's anything back to his form of 2015, 2016, if he's running the ball again, if he can get his arm back under him, that it could be a 12-win team, I think. Their defense is insane. They have a great offensive line. But if we get the Cam Newton we've seen the last 2.5 years, I don't even know if it improves it by that much. They had Kyle Allen come in last year and outplayed him. I don't think Stidham is that different from Kyle Allen. They're pretty similar players to me.
So the Patriots, they have to play the Seahawks, Chiefs, 49ers, the Bills twice, the Ravens, the Texans, and the Cardinals are no slouch. It's not like it's an easy schedule.
No.
Those are a lot of tough teams. Half of those teams are playoff teams.
I thought they were like a 4-win team without Tom, and they maybe go up to 6. I don't think
with Cam.
I think they only win maybe 1 or 2 games in their division. I mean, it'd be awesome if Cam lit it up and it was Tampa
Resurgence.
Bay, New England Super Bowl. I don't see that coming.
No, it wouldn't.
Just to see Tom Brady go off against Bill Belichick, that would be cool.
I just think even if Cam Newton is really good, that New England offense is not good enough to compete with Kansas City, Baltimore. Like, you're not going to... They have the same issue this year they had last year. They don't have the weapons on offense. Is N'Keal Harry maybe a little better this year than he was last year? It's possible, but he's still not an X factor. Yeah, he's still not an X factor. He's not going to take the top off of defense. Edelman's another year older. Their running game's no different. They didn't draft like a stud wide receiver in the first round of the draft to help him out on offense.
They did last year, or they thought they did.
N'Keal Harry.
Yeah.
But
he was a top end wide receiver, right? He was considered one of the best in the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of a reach in the first round, but
I think he had 8 or 9 weeks off last year.
I think so.
So I wouldn't completely write him off as not being able to take the edge off of defense, but
just on a side thing, that was back-to-back years of Arizona State wide receiver went in the first round. Why aren't they any good if they have this talent on their team?
Who's their quarterback?
I don't know, but
Maybe that's why.
that's the guy they got to get.
How did they end up getting back-to-back first-round talents at wide receiver when they don't have a quarterback?
2 years ago, Butler or
N'Keal Harry and then Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk this year.
Oh, Ayuk.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
just
know.
seems
That's a good
strange
question.
that they're putting out this talent,
And
but
they have a
how do
former-
we know that they're good if their quarterback's trash? Like,
They have a former NFL head coach as their head coach too, Herm Edwards.
yeah, maybe
Isn't
that's
there-
how they get the talent.
Is Arizona State where David Johnson came out of?
No, he came out of Arizona State.
No, he came out
Northern
of
Iowa or
Northern,
something.
yeah,
Northern Iowa.
Yeah. Kenyon Drake. I think he was Arizona State.
Alabama.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake is Alabama.
Who was no, Montgomery wasn't.
He's Iowa State.
I have no idea. That was my
Kalen
best
Balaj.
I don't know where he came from. Maybe.
I don't know that Arizona State's had a really good running back come out in the last couple of years.
I'm mixing up with Northern Iowa.
Arizona State was Kalen Balazs.
Kalen.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
So we can still say I don't
So
know
they
if a
haven't
really
had a
good
good one.
running back has came on the last
Still
couple of
haven't had a
years.
good one
Still
now.
a really good one.
He's now the third string running back on that team.
Miami?
Well, they got Jordan Howard and Matt
Oh,
Breida.
that's great. I always forget about Howard.
You shouldn't. Don't sleep on him.
I know, 1,000 yards.
He's going to be super good this year. He's on my fantasy team.
Speaking of fantasy teams, we had our Dynasty rookie draft over the weekend.
Oh, boy.
I'd say that was even more popping than the NFL news.
It was popping before we got there.
Yeah, so there's the yearly tradition of going to a golf outing, and there's a few of us that just are more disc golfers than golfers, or just not
Or
golfers
neither.
at all.
I'm neither.
So a few of us weren't there, but there was 8 out of the 12 members in attendance
By
Yeah.
about 4:30.
at the golf venue. Then they came to the draft site, and by the time I showed up at 6:30, like fashionably half an hour before the draft, moves had been made that were just wild. I mean, Scott, you can attest to this a little bit here now, I think.
So I will say I made 4 trades. Before the draft even started, I made 4 moves. Now, we'll take a step back really quick. Saquon Barkley is the biggest domino to fall, and he fell on the golf course. Deal was made out on the golf course before I ever had a shot to get him, pretty much, which it's fine. I'll read you off what the deal was. And I posted all of these polls to Twitter, and we got results. On the Saquon Barkley one specifically, we got 68 votes on it.
Whoa.
The deal was Saquon Barkley for Melvin Gordon, Cooper Kupp, and Odell Beckham. Those 3 players for Saquon. And it totaled in at 51% of Twitter users wanted Saquon, 49% wanted the package.
It's close.
Personally, I would take Saquon, I think, on that deal. I think I'd rather have Saquon than Odell, Cooper Kupp, and Melvin Gordon. But it's a pretty close trade.
Yeah, it's a lot more fair than what you were offering him.
That's what everybody said. They're like, you couldn't even beat it. I was like, I didn't beat it with my first offer because it's my first offer. I'm not going to give you my best shot on my first offer.
Maybe you should have.
Like I said, I walked up there and the deal was pretty much already done. It wasn't signed and made official yet, but it was a done deal.
Yeah.
I think I'm taking the offer in that
You'd rather
case.
have Melvin Gordon, Cooper Kupp, and Odell Beckham?
With that team that you said last week,
It was a bad team.
it was a bad team. That was his only good player. Now you have, in a standard draft, all those people are going in the first 2 rounds. Cooper
yeah.
Kupp maybe towards the end of it, but was one of the best wide receivers for the
In
Rams
the
last year, if not the best wide receiver for the Rams last year. So I'd say, you're giving up a top 5 pick, possibly top 2 pick for 3 top 20
You're
picks.
getting good value.
So
Yeah.
who are the 3? Who do you get again? Cooper Kupp.
OBJ and Melvin Gordon.
And he got a pick, too. He got 209.
Yeah, but he also gave one. It was pretty much just a couple. I can look that up quick. It was pretty much swapping one higher pick for one lower pick.
Okay, so the Saquon guy got like 310 or 303 or something like that.
It was. I don't even have it.
Yeah,
It
it's
was.
not
It was
on
like 20. It was like 208 for 304.
Okay.
So he moved up 6 spots, and they dropped back 6 spots in the draft, including the deal. So that wasn't the important part of the trade, but I guess it's a thing.
The
If you
important
wanna-
part was Scott could not get Saquon.
Right.
So the value for that, the Saquon, whoever got Saquon lost that trade
Based on value alone.
based on value. So Cooper Kupp, Odell, Melvin, and then 208 got him 73. That was 73 in value. Saquon and the pick was 69.8. So I mean
But
it was fair,
Close.
Very close.
but he got a
Um,
little bit more value out of it.
One thing I think that's interesting to note now is the guy that traded Saquon, his roster now has a 3-headed monster at wideout. Odell Beckham, DK Metcalf, and Cooper Kupp. That's a pretty good 3-headed monster at wide receiver.
He got substantially better.
yeah, without a doubt.
Substantially better.
So, with that being said, that trade lights an absolute lightning struck after that trade, and this guy right here just started slinging deals. I made 4 trades in about a 45-minute span. Trade number
Nobody
1.
gets harder for making
Yeah.
trades than
Scott,
Scott.
I think roster baited probably 10 times
On the
since
ride
Saturday.
home.
Yeah.
Rookie numbers.
I was
Gotta get
excited,
those numbers
though.
up.
Oh, you were excited.
It's
Was I not
just
excited?
cancer prevention.
Yeah. I'm doing my part to prevent cancer for me. All right.
Well, there's no more cancer left in that body.
So here's trade number 1. Allen Robinson. This is what I gave up. Allen Robinson, Kareem Hunt, 1.12, and a 2021 second for DeAndre Hopkins. Which would... I'll ask you guys what you'd rather have before I unveil the Twitter results. Brandon might know them. Star, which would you rather have? Would you rather have the package of Allen Robinson, Kareem Hunt, pick 12, and a 2021 second, or DeAndre Hopkins?
So now we know what happened with 112. We know who we took.
Yeah.
Does
so
that
we
matter?
can put that in. Yeah, put that in.
Instead of
Okay.
pick 12.
So that I don't have to just guess who was
He
available
took
there.
Gibson, the running back for Washington.
I mean, maybe you should just think of it as pick 112. Because Gibson was definitely,
Henry Ruggs was available.
Really?
yes.
Really.
And he drafted, was it Taj Gibson? No.
Antonio.
Antonio Gibson.
The 5th running back for Washington.
Yeah.
Was he just assume he's going to shoot up there?
No, what he was banking on was drafting Keyshawn Vaughn, who I drafted one spot before him, and he freaked out and drafted
Panicked.
Gibson.
And what did you get in return?
I got literally DeAndre Hopkins only.
That's it.
This is good to run these on the
I'm-
Dynasty trade calc.
I know Allen Robinson did good last year, but I'm not a fan of him. Kareem Hunt is a backup. I definitely would have took Ruggs at 112 over Gibson, but I like Hopkins and Kyler Murray. I think I don't mind that trade for you.
That
Gage.
trade there, I would take Nuke.
Were those guys? Kareem Hunt wasn't a starter for you, was he?
No, he's expendable. He was
Yeah.
my third running back.
Allen Robinson probably you played to matchups, but not every week.
Right, he was my flex guy, or a possible flex
Played
guy.
well last year, though.
He did. He had a good
Very
season
well.
last year.
He's due for a contract. So,
So
might
I
ball
had-
out.
Kind of like a.
So I had
Last 4 games made him look like a.
Robinson was
Yeah.
on paper. Robinson was my, at any given week, 3rd or 4th or 5th best wide receiver. At
So
the
now
time.
you got a best wide receiver.
Right.
Which
And-
he's going to need after he reads off the rest of these trades.
Right. And at the time of this trade, my 3-headed monster at wide receiver was DeAndre Hopkins, Tyreek Hill, and Amari Cooper.
And that's solid.
However, Brandon,
Well-
read the value on this first, and I'll
So-
give the Twitter results.
Allen Robinson, Kareem Hunt, Antonio Gibson, and a mid-2021 second was about 40.6 in value.
DeAndre Hopkins is a lot more than that.
Yeah. He's
44.6.
Oh,
So another
it
fair trade.
Really wasn't that far
Is
off.
it an age thing? Or how is Saquon worth 69 points?
Running backs
Running
are valued
backs.
very high.
Yeah.
and
like,
age.
McCaffrey is valued at like 79 right now. Something silly like that.
Running backs do get the upper
Henry
hand.
Ruggs would have added another 11. So he would have beat you by 5 or 6, which still fairly fair.
And this is the thing that we got to remember. Like, the best part about draft day, it's any draft, but especially this league, take values and research and throw it out the window because you're just sitting and shooting back and forth offers. So to come up with 2 trades, the first 2 trades being made within 4 points each of each other, that's pretty good. Because, I mean, I made a trade last year for pick 1. I think I gave up 40 points more in value at the time.
Yes, you did.
It was way whack.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
Now looking back on it, hindsight's 2020. A year later, I end up I got the better value out of it, but at the time it was out of whack. So Twitter voted 78% to 22% that they'd rather have the package: Robinson, Hunt, 112, and a 2021 second. I would be interested if I changed that 1.12 to
Gibson?
Antonio Gibson if it changes. I might do that in a couple days. Just
It
for
would
humor's
definitely
sake.
change it.
I think, yeah.
Bring it down. I mean, the team you traded with needed help too.
And he was in
And
the same boat as the team
He
that
still
made-
needs help.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
drafting Gibson.
But
A lot more than fantasy help.
the team context around this, since I know it, it does make a difference in how I'm voting for it.
And it also changes the fact that, like, yeah, I'm giving up the package, but I had depth, so I could get that up to get Nuke. It worked out
Yeah.
both ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, like, for him, he really needed Kareem Hunt because he needed a possible running back that could be a starter next year.
Didn't you trade away Nuke last year?
That was me.
You did.
Yep.
All right. I knew there was a trade involving him
I
beginning
got-
of last season.
I got a first. I got Kerryon Johnson. I got.
Yeah, let's
N'Keal
see who
Harry.
got a better deal for
Actually,
Nuke.
that first would have been Taylor this year.
Yeah.
Actually, I personally think if you go with pick 112, if that's Ruggs,
It's even.
this guy would have gotten a better trade for Nuke than what you got
Yes.
right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, this could fall apart too. Maybe Allen Robinson's not what he had. I mean, he had a good year last year.
Yeah, but
You know.
he hasn't every year.
And we know
Right.
what happened to Carry-On. He got hurt, potentially could get hurt again this year. I mean, he's been injury prone, and then Swift is coming in. So
You never know. A year can change a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So then moving on to the second trade that was made directly after getting DeAndre Hopkins, I decided that I'm going to move Tyreek Hill. The
Because
package-
you've never said anything bad about him on this podcast before. You've
Well,
treated him like the golden
a
god of
baby.
the NFL.
The best receiver to ever live.
Well, you know, when you're blown
Pound
away
for
with
pound.
an offer, when you're blown away with a trade offer, sometimes you just got to.
So did you
Word
not
for word.
initiate it? This was
I did not
initiated to you?
initiate it.
When you're blown away. Oh, I'm selling Hill. I didn't initiate shit. My ass.
I did not. He came up to me and said he wanted to trade for Hill, and I said,
Scott's
"All right, what are you
trade
offering?"
boner was going off in all sorts of directions, and Tyreek Hill was next on the chopper.
you got to be careful when he's in that state of mind. He's a
You
fucking
got to
wild
stay
card.
at least 3 inches away from him.
He got that crazy look in his eyes, and we didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah, it was heated. It was hot and heavy, but we ended up getting a deal made, and it's a good deal. So, next trade. Would you rather have Tyreek Hill or the package of Miles Sanders, David Njoku, and 1.11? With which
Keyshawn
1.11
Vaughn.
ended up being Keyshawn Vaughn. So, would you rather have Tyreek Hill or Miles Sanders, David Njoku, and Keyshawn Vaughn?
I would rather have Tyreek Hill.
I'd take the running backs.
You want the package?
Yep.
I would
Brandon?
take the package as well. I'm not a fan of Njoku, but I would take the 2 running backs.
And I
Yeah.
took Njoku as a flyer because I have Noah Fant as my number 1 right now, and he's a little questionable. So now what I have at tight end is Fant, Hayden Hurst, and David Njoku. So I think I'll get a starter every week out of those 3.
Fantasy value for Tyreek Hill was 44. For Miles Sanders, David Njoku, and Keyshawn Vaughn, 44.2.
Wow.
Probably the fairest trade, blind trade. That I mean, obviously 1.10 or 11 or whatever. We didn't know what that was going to be, but knowing that, definitely fair.
And if you go to Twitter, this was also 49% voted they wanted Tyreek Hill, 51 said they want the package
Wow.
on 82 votes. So
You couldn't get any closer than that.
No.
And as I stated, after acquiring Nuke, Tyreek Hill, if you're going to blow me away with an offer, and I already missed out on Saquon, if I can add Miles Sanders and get another running back, I'll take a flyer on it. So then here we come to trade number 3. Scott's feeling good about himself. He's happy with his roster.
Just going to make a comment. It's interesting to see that the value of Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins are basically the same, according to that thing.
Yeah. Dynasty trade calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
Who
thought
would you pick?
if I was between the two,
Yeah, Nuke or
for one season, I'd take Nuke 100%.
for a
Dynasty, I would have to think about it a little longer. I might lean Tyreek.
What I like about Tyreek is you know who is. I mean, obviously you know Murray's going to be the quarterback there, but you know what Mahomes has.
Yeah.
Well, you're with Tyreek, he's with the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I've
Kyler
seen
Murray he showed a year of he was pretty good.
It was his rookie year.
Right, but the other
look at
thing-
Baker's rookie year compared to Baker's sophomore year.
Yeah.
Fair. But also what you get with Hill is those flashes in the pan where he sizzles after it, you know? He gets the 4 targets and doesn't catch anything. That happens with Hill.
Tyreek Hill is 5'8". When you look up his height, it's a lie. He measured it in his pro day at 5'8". He's 5'8". The man is the second coming of Antonio Brown.
You're saying
I'm watching his workout videos he's been doing this offseason. Immaculate. Dude's in 0% body fat. The dude is going to take the league by tsunami because he already did it by storm. Watch out.
jeez.
Well, that's the quote of the day.
You don't think there's any chance that the 21-year-old grew?
We already did by storm.
There's no chance the 21-year-old grew a little bit?
Are you talking about Kyler
No. You're saying Hill.
Hill?
He measured in at 5'8". He could be 5'9".
No, I don't think. I'm still growing, but most people quit growing around the age of like 20. He's shorter than I am.
Fair enough.
So
A hell of a lot faster.
that's the Tyreek Hill.
Slightly.
Barely. I think we got to line them up side by side.
If you put him on like stilts and in quicksand, I might have a shot at beating him in a 40.
Trade number 3. After I make the Tyreek Hill trade, I have another owner approach me, and they want to trade for Amari Cooper. So I'm like, all right, let's go sit outside and talk. Sit down. We ended up coming up with Amari Cooper and 3.10 for Cortland Sutton and 2.07. Round 2, pick 7 ended up being Zach Moss. Round 3, pick 10 ended up being
Where did Zach Moss go?
Adam Troutman.
207.
He went
7.
8 picks after Gibson.
Antonio Gibson.
He went pick 19.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Alcohol is a hell of a drug.
Let's just
I'm like thinking every running back's gone, and he just had to take a running back, and that's why he went with Gibson.
Let's just put this into perspective. Really quick, let's get through this, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the trade after this. Antonio Gibson was drafted at pick 12 in the first round. These were the players that were on the board.
You're going to cry.
Henry Ruggs III, Michael Pittman, Laviska Shenault, T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Tua Tagovailoa, Zach Moss, Denzel Mims, Brian Edwards.
Not a single good player on there.
Like, you could have taken any one of those players, and it would have been better value than Gibson. Who knows? Maybe Gibson ends up being better than all of them.
He might know something. We
Or
don't.
not.
Hey, when you talk about NFL comps, Gibson is C-Mac reborn.
The look on his face.
He
Don't
read
diss
one
my running
article
back
that
like
said
that.
I
he's
asked
a sleeper.
If he was there at 305.
Probably.
That's all I'm saying.
But the look on his face after Keyshawn Vaughn was drafted one pick before him was
The life left him.
straight depression. Just depression.
The sad thing is, I was keeping track. He was asking for my help, and I was lending a hand. I was crossing off names on his list, just so he knew who was available. He came back in. I didn't realize Jonathan Taylor was taken. He's taken 2. I was like, I don't know why he hasn't been taken yet. I mean, it's pick 12. That's
You did
surprising.
not set him up
I
like
didn't.
that.
I did not do it on purpose, but I did do it.
And he goes,
So he's like, "You're kidding me? You're telling me the truth, right? He's actually available." I was like, "Yeah. I mean, I don't have him crossed off. He's available." Okay, I'm not gonna look like an idiot if I say it. I was like, "No, like he's there." Jonathan Taylor. He went pick 2.
he looks at you
So,
like
God damn it! Why the fuck you set me up? It's like, I'm sorry, dude.
Brandon's geeking out.
oh my gosh.
It wasn't intentional.
You guys are having more fun at that side of the table.
Yeah, we were too serious on our
we
side.
were fighting over on my side.
My biggest problem was the guy that I was sitting to. Every single pick that came up in the first round, he was trying to peddle players.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting here
yeah.
listening to him throw the same exact package out every single next pick. Nonetheless, Amari Cooper and 310 or Cortland Sutton and 2.7.
What was 310 again?
310 was somebody by the name of Adam Troutman.
Oh, tight end.
Yes.
He was considered the best tight end in
Okay.
the draft.
So would you rather have
Where did he go?
Amari Cooper and Adam Troutman, or would you rather have Cortland Sutton and Zach Moss?
One of the 32 NFL teams, but it wasn't the Bears.
Good to know.
I don't know where he went. Adam Troutman is a football player, tight end, who got drafted by the Saints. That's who it was.
That's actually a
That's
good
actually
landing
a good
spot.
spot.
It
Yeah.
is.
Gage's Rage. Would you rather have Amari Cooper and Adam Troutman or Cortland Sutton and Zach Moss?
Give me Sutton and Moss.
Star
Just
Lamar.
Not Cooper.
I think that one's pretty close too. I really like both the wide receivers. Moss is better than the tight end. Cooper's slightly better than Sutton. I'll go Sutton.
I would
I
go
just-
Sutton and oh, go on.
I was just going to say I think that Drew Lock's going to rely on him a lot this year, where Dak's going to have a lot of fun with all of his weapons. Not going to just go for Amari. Plus, you got Darius Slay in that division now. You got Ron Rivera in that division now. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm reading about Antonio Gibson right now. I don't even know if he's a running back.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver.
He was a
running back.
gadget player in college.
Yeah.
He wasn't a true running back.
Might be interesting. Who knows? But they
Yeah.
have 5 running backs in Washington.
But they might keep Gibson on as a gadget player, like a 6
Yeah.
wideout or
Yes.
a third running back.
I'm
fourth
sure they
running
will.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go Sutton and Moss. I think Moss has got potential. He's a 3rd-round pick, and Sutton proved himself last year. If Drew Lock can step it up, I think he's going to have a really good year.
Heck yeah.
The Twitter universe with 80 votes voted 61% Cortland Sutton and Zach Moss, 39% Cooper and Troutman.
Here's the surprising thing. I put those values in. This is the closest value we've had, and we were 0.2 away on the last one. This was 28.5 for Amari Cooper and Troutman, and 28.4 for Moss and Sutton.
These are some good trades.
What, you just put a player in and it gives you the value?
Yes.
What's the value of Cooper and Sutton together in one?
That would be
like their respective values each?
No.
Oh,
If
Together?
they were together in one package.
see where you're going.
that'd be 52.8.
52 points.
So they're 8 points better than just Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Those two together.
I was just trying to see if they were kind of similar to it. Because that seemed low to me that they would have them at 28.
Put them up against Michael Thomas. I bet you Michael Thomas's value is within 2 or 3 of them.
Ooh, no, I think Thomas is
You think-
over 50.
You think Thomas beats those two?
Yeah, probably
Butthole bet?
56.
Wait, what is their value?
Can I set the over-under? Wait, I could just take
Just hang
Thomas
on.
over those two?
That's what your bet would be.
So they
Hold
are
on.
52.8 combined. 27.2 for Cooper, 25.6
Butthole
for
bet.
Sutton.
Tenner?
Tenner.
All right, so
Thomas is over. There's
$10. Gage's Rage takes Thomas over.
And this, what was Saquon's? 69, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And he's probably one of the higher ones as a
69.8.
running back. You said.
C-Mac, I think, is higher.
He's like
70.
77 or 78.
C-Mac is stupid.
So if Michael
No,
Thomas
he's very
is
smart. 72 is
it's
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey.
So Michael Thomas comes in at 59.8.
Ooh!
He was 7 over.
Wow.
Is he the number one wide receiver
With a bullet.
as
Yeah.
far
He's
as
got it.
value
He's
in
young.
there?
He's
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Because who would even compare? It'd be Nuke and Tyreek Hill would be the next two
Devontae
closest.
Adams, maybe?
No.
Adams is probably like 30.
I feel like Adams wouldn't be much better than Nuke, if any better.
He'd be
than
right
Adams-
on Nuke and Hill.
44.4, so he's
Yeah.
right there
Exactly.
with them.
Michael Thomas has to be the number one with a bullet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Well,
What's Julio?
congrats.
What's an
Julio's
old guy
dropping.
like
His
that?
is
Yeah,
probably mid-20s, 24,
Yeah,
25.
low 20s.
like worse than Amari's. And
a little bit worse,
I
I would
actually
say.
know this one. I've been looking at him.
24.4.
I actually had, for some reason, I knew that too.
The reason is because he's an age cliff, but he's a target hog. I
So-
like those. Those are cool graphics.
You got the membership?
Oh, yeah.
Following
had to do
through
it.
on the
great.
transformation of Scott's roster, Scott wasn't quite done after that trade. Scott decided then that he needed to do this trade. He goes and offers up James White, 2.11, which ended up being Brian Edwards.
Because that pick was traded.
So James White, Brian Edwards, and a 2020 second for Darius Geis.
2021 second.
Future
Sorry.
second,
Yes, 21 second. I said 20. Star Lamar, are you taking Darius Geis or are you taking James White, Brian Edwards, and a second next year?
I'm taking Geis. I'm a proponent for Geis. He hasn't obviously done anything yet, but I think he averaged 5.4 yards per carry last season, even though it was only over the first 2 games or whatever. He's good. He was great in college. Really fun to watch. Workhorse back, and that was when LSU didn't have a quarterback, and defenses just had to stop the run, and he still was running all over people. He had games over 200 yards rushing. I think he just needs to stay healthy, and he's going to be good. The only thing I don't like about him is that he has Adrian Peterson on roster with him. Not
Agreed.
Antonio Gibson, not Bryce Love. Adrian Peterson quietly goes for 1,000 yards every year.
Sorry, Peyton Barber is going to be the starter.
No.
Gage's Rage.
Yeah, give me anyone that's on. Yeah, give me guys.
Brandon.
Same.
Not James White. That's my vote.
The
thing is-
DTC value on that.
James White, Brian Edwards, and a late 2021 second equates to 15.7. Darius Geis comes out at 11.2. It's close. Not as close as the last two, but you can't get really much closer than that
I'm
without being
wondering
the same.
where the value came from the other people.
The pick.
For which people?
I mean,
Edwards is a Ram, correct?
He's a Raider.
it's a Raider.
Raider receiver, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
It's out of South Carolina, right?
How
Big.
much value does James White have?
That's why I don't see
James
value
White-
in James White
it's like
without
it's like 5
Tom
for
Brady.
each of them. It's probably 5 for James White, 5 for Edwards, 5 for the pick.
5.3 White, 6.5 Edwards, 3.9 pick. The thing about that pick, I felt a hell of a lot more confident with it in this year's draft. I'm not too sure what's coming in next year, but the talent that was in this draft, a late second in this year's draft, was still going to get you a good player. Very good player.
Well, in our league, next year's draft as well. But who did you make this trade with?
This trade was made with Clydesdale, the guy that drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire number 1.
We'll see
He's
where
a guy
the
that
pick
needs
goes.
picks. He needs to
Yep.
rebuild his roster.
That he does.
You need to hit on these picks, though. Does that wrap up all your trades here? Or?
So those are my trades. So I'd pretty much completely flip my roster on its head.
Got rid of all your boom and bust guys that we've been ripping you
And
for months
changed
and you've been
and
defending.
Switched it over to a lot more steady, even keel players. Then we get to the big. I would argue this might have been the biggest trade of the night.
The biggest trade?
Well, maybe not actually. One of the
Yeah, we had OBJ,
Well, Saquon
Tyreek
Barkley
Hill,
was big.
Saquon. I mean,
the
And
reason
Darius Geis was the biggest one.
the reason that this one got me excited is because you're trading 2 firsts and Todd Gurley altogether.
yes.
Gage's rage.
There was a lot involved.
Oh, yeah,
So,
your trade.
yeah, I had 3 picks in the first round. They've been coveted. I traded Nuke last year. I traded Adam Thielen last year and acquired these trades, or these picks. And it was finally coming up to draft time. And I think I've told you guys my strategy. I wanted running backs coming out of this draft. So 104, it kind of went exactly how I thought. Edwards-Helaire, Taylor, Dobbins. And I was comfortable with either Dobbins or Swift. Whoever was there was my guy. So Swift it was. Carry on. Swift makes sense. And I text myself names every year from what I like in the combine, and Swift was like one of the only 2 guys I texted myself. So coming out with him, I'm very happy with. Then my next pick was 106, and I think 105 was a wide receiver.
105 was CD.
CeeDee Lamb, yep. So I had an option. I really liked Akers. I really liked Dillon. And I didn't really I liked Vaughn a little bit, but not as much as the other guys. And a trade comes my way that involves Todd Gurley. 206, I want to say. A second round pick this year. And then a future first for pick 106.
2021 first.
2021 first. I can't remember what the pick was even.
It was a 2022 second.
No. It was a second this year in the draft. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
you
was
got
a future
206.
pick
I think
made.
that's what it was.
It was 206,
And a future first.
a future first,
Which will be a late
and
first,
Gurley,
most likely.
most likely, for just 106.
And did he go Akers?
He went Akers with it.
I was going to say that. I feel like with the names you said, that would have been the pick.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, Akers for Gurley straight up, and then I get a first on top of it. I really like the move I made.
And 206.
206 ended up coming in later here. So I had 108, and I can't remember who went at 107. Do you have that available?
I do have that available. At 107, you had Jerry Jeudy.
Yes. So there was some running backs there. I ended up going with A.J. Dillon. And
A terrible pick, but
a terrible pick for you hating on the pack, but I think in 2 years that could be one of the best picks I made.
He was at that point the best running back on the board.
he's a Packer.
Fair enough. I went all NFC North. Yeah, it was. I mean, who was running back drafted after that?
Keyshawn Vaughn would have been the next best available, and then Antonio Gibson,
Yeah,
and then Zach Moss. So he was the best running back available.
I was really happy with that pick. So then it came back to 206, and there were some wide receivers there, but I really don't want to draft a wideout. I'm already pretty deep on my taxi squad. So I was looking to move the pick, and the same owner comes up to me again, offered me Mostert and a future second for that pick.
for 208.
And I took it. I mean, Mostert, I think, is going to start for at least the first few weeks.
I would bet.
He'll be starter most of the year, I think, and he'll at least be a viable option.
He ended
Yeah.
that season real good.
So coming out of it with A.J. Dillon, DeAndre Swift, Todd Gurley, and Mostert, a future first, a future second, I loved my draft there. And then in the third round, I went with a flyer and picked up Justin Herbert. I got Keenan Allen.
Joe Burrow was on the board when Herbert was taken.
I didn't even know Burrow was there, to tell you the truth.
I was going to ask with that 206. So that must have been in the third round you took Herbert.
Yes,
Herbert was
305.
pick number 5 in the third. Yep.
Was Tua the first quarterback off the board?
Tua was first quarterback off the board, and he went off in the second round, pick 6.
Who was Who did he draft with 208?
208 ended up being Denzel Mims.
Mims. Okay. And, yeah, I'm cool with that. I don't want any piece of the Jets.
I was looking forward to Mims. I was hoping he was going to fall to me.
Yeah, so essentially what ends up happening, and that was the last trade made of the night during the draft. Well, those were the last 2 trades.
Yep.
Brandon ended up not having a first because he traded his first to get Thielen, so Brandon ended up settling with a second and a third, with which he drafted
Devin
Duvernay.
Duvernay. Yep. Wide receiver for the Ravens. And then I got running back. Oh, God.
Darrington Evans,
That's who it was, yeah.
behind Derrick Henry and
Derrick
Tennessee.
Henry.
You took that Devin guy in the second round?
Yeah.
Was that before Mims?
Mims, I was 2 picks after Mims.
After? I was like,
Yep.
if,
Guys
why'd you take
were,
that guy if you were looking forward to Mims?
Guys that were available when Duvernay was picked would have been Brian Edwards, Rob Gronkowski, KJ Hamler, Josh Kelly, Hayden Hurst, Tyler Johnson, Justin Herbert, Van Jefferson, Joe Burrow. There were some guys, but I mean,
I like Van Jefferson.
yeah, Van Jefferson ended up actually going in the third round, pick 6. So he slipped a little.
No,
Hamler was my other
Rams.
thought.
Rams.
he's a Gator.
Jefferson, that's right. Yeah, so I was really banking on Gronk being there at 305. I was kind of thrown off by
Sounds
him.
like there's some nice tight ends available. People must feel set at tight end if
People just don't value them super high.
yeah.
I mean, you get your top tight ends, and other than that, people just kind of come and go with them.
Stream.
Yeah.
But then free agency opens up the next day at noon.
Yep.
And you're allowed to fill your roster to 23.
Yep.
And I already have 24 guys after the draft.
So you have to cut one.
Before
I
you
don't
can
have
do
to
anything.
cut one. I can't make a move until I do, though.
Technically, you got to cut 2 to make an addition.
Yeah, and technically we got to get down to 20 by the season start. So I'm going to have to cut
Yep.
a few.
So
Or trade a few for futures.
players like you got DJ Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Seattle
super
running
excited
back.
about getting him.
Who is the backup for the Jets now? Who's that guy?
The guy behind Le'Veon.
Lamichael Perine. P. Ryan.
Yeah.
And then I got Cole Kmet, and I got Chase Claypool.
So P. Ryan's out of Florida, right?
I think so. But
Is he related to Samaje P. Ryan?
I think so. I thought Cousins maybe.
When P. Ryan came out, Samaje P.
He was
Ryan,
the second coming.
I thought he's going to be great. I have a buddy who does kind of a similar dynasty league to you, and he was like pick 5, and I was telling him to fucking smash the button on P. Ryan. I was like, dude's going to be good. They don't have anyone there. He's like breaking every record at Oklahoma. Like, he's amazing. And then Alvin Kamara went the next pick, and that was all she wrote.
Ouch.
You know,
Does he still come to you for advice?
no, he doesn't.
Weird.
But at the time, I was thinking Alvin Kamara was third on that depth chart going into his rookie season. They had Adrian Peterson and Ingram, and I was like, and Kamara, I loved his tape. I was huge on him, but I was like, he's not going to play for like a year or two. And by then, who knows what he's going to be. So I was wrong. I admit it.
What the hell?
Yeah, so, I mean, ultimately, I think all of us are pretty happy with how we came out of the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts Brandon a little bit that he doesn't have a first, but, I mean, that's what you do. You trade for an Adam Thielen, and you don't have a first.
I was able to get A.J. Dillon with that, so thank you.
You can have him.
Would you rather have Adam Thielen or A.J. Dillon?
Adam Thielen in a heartbeat?
Now, one thing
I don't like
did
Packer
want to bring
players.
up, after that Adam Thielen trade, I did some preposterous stuff that day, and I really wanted a running back. So I believe I offered you 3 first-round picks,
Yep.
Keenan Allen, and Irv Smith Jr. to get Adam Thielen and Christian McCaffrey.
You traded Thielen and then tried to trade him back
Oh,
on the
it's-
same
he was
day?
hurting.
Instantly, my Purple Heart was hurt.
And if Brandon would have accepted that trade from Gage, Brandon would have ended up with
It would have been 102.
Keenan Allen, Irv Smith Jr., theoretically Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, and Cam Akers.
So looking back now, do you wish you would have made that trade, or are you happy with what you made?
Do you wish you had Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, Keenan Allen, and Irv Smith Jr., or do you wish you had Adam Thielen and
C-Mac.
Christian McCaffrey?
He's putting it in his app
Dynasty
right
trade
now.
calculator?
Yeah, I would have came out with like about 28 more in value in that.
That's what it was at the time of the offer with just picks.
Yes, that was. Well, no, this is with the players.
When we did it last year before the draft, future firsts, it was like 30 points I was giving you 30 points.
It was something like that.
Yep.
Did you trade another pick away, or how do you not have Taylor on your team?
I swapped that midseason. I got TJ Hawkinson with it. So I made a first-round swap, Hawkinson, and I gave up Jamal Williams.
And his hope on it was that it was going to go the other way.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the swap would work for me, but it didn't. Not one bit.
Blew up in his favor.
2 for 6.
Adding the players, the depth would be nice, for sure. I think Keenan Allen swapping with Thielen, probably right now in their career, they're roughly the same age. Probably about a wash, especially with Diggs being gone. Irv Smith, up and coming, but I had Austin Hooper, so it would have been a nice second guy. But the 3 running backs would have been great value, definitely. And you can only start one. C-Mac does get you the value of 2 running backs when he plays, but probably would have. I would have came out better if I would have taken the trade.
And then also been able to draft those 3 players, theoretically.
Exactly. Could have gone a little differently,
Definitely.
but yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's
pretty
how
much,
she goes.
I
that's
could
pretty
end
much
it.
the Dynasty
With
League
C-Mac,
draft.
I could have ended it all. No.
That's pretty much the Dynasty League draft.
Well, that was pretty much the players drafted.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We made some rule changes, Star.
Oh, let's hear it.
So, how do you feel
I need to get
about
used
adding like roster sizes? We went from 16 to 17.
We added 1 roster spot.
That's right.
So now you can have 1 extra player on your roster.
For Dynasty, I think it's all right. A yearly, I wouldn't like the move. I like fighting in free agency and people having to release someone that they might like to pick up a defense because their defense is off or something like that.
Which is a very good point.
But in a Dynasty League where you're holding on to these players, it's kind of nice to be able to grab those deep down players that maybe haven't even seen the field yet that you can hold on your bench because you think in 10 games they might show up or in a season they might show up.
So that is what Taxi Squad is, though. We have 3 of those. Players 2 years or less that you can grab that they're the ones that most likely haven't seen the field.
Yeah, but the regular roster just allows you 1 extra person
Spot,
to have.
yes.
Yeah. So
Do you feel differently going 1 spot to 2 spots? We would went from 16 to 18. Does that change your mind?
Yeah, I think that's too many. I think your free agency is probably lacking at that point.
Well,
it's already pretty desperate.
with
You
if
can
everybody-
everyone can carry 2 kickers and 2 defenses at that point and not have to worry about
They won't.
ever being in a pickle.
well,
Yeah, I think I'm the only one of the only 2 or 3 teams who's got a kicker in defense right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. So with the Taxi right now, that's if everybody utilizes it, which not everybody does fully.
20 players.
Yep, that's 36. 3 times 12. So you have 3 players on there.
He was saying 20
Oh,
people per team.
Yeah, you have 20 players.
Oh,
on your
yes.
team.
Okay, I was saying
17
that's
pushing for
36
tax.
players on the Taxi Squad that are no longer in free agency. Now you take away another 12, and if we went to 2, that's 50 people just right off the bat.
yeah, but also let's remember though on this, the taxi has to be a guy that's in his 2nd year or younger.
Yes.
So
Yep.
it does eliminate young players from the free agency pool, but
It
not
does.
all.
It gets to pretty slim pickings.
Yep.
And it already was. Like I said, this league definitely values running backs, wide receivers more than
Definitely.
Can you move from taxi to active back to taxi?
anything.
There's only
time
one
a
window
year.
during the year when you can, and it's between week 6 and 7.
So if you have your guy in the taxi week 1 and he blows up, you
gotta
can't just
keep him there.
move him there.
Until
You
week
can
6.
trade him off your taxi squad to a different team, but that will take an active spot on your roster.
Does the
together
team who
season.
trades for him have the ability to put him on their active roster, or do
have
they?
to.
They have to.
They have
roster
to.
him. They have to roster him. They
You
either
can't
have to
trade
roster him-
between taxis.
That'd be sick.
No, you can't. Although That's a good question because I think if two guys said, "Hey, we want to trade these two tags," you guys would keep them on. I feel like
should
you'd
bring
be able
that
to
up
swap
next year.
it. That's a good option. That's a good question.
Or even like a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
So the other thing we did was we added unlimited COVID slots. If a player gets sick with COVID, you can put as many players as you want on there who get sick, but they have to be on there at least 2 weeks.
Does it have to be officially COVID?
Yes.
Related?
Yep, it's got to be like specified that they're out with COVID.
And if you put them on there, they got to be on there 2 weeks.
At least 2
God,
weeks, but
what
it can be longer.
world are we living in?
I thought this was only one COVID spot.
No, it's
until
unlimited.
Just now.
Nope, it was unlimited.
Fucking Nick, I shouldn't have been out there bullshitting. I
You
missed
wouldn't
a lot.
You voting against it wouldn't have unpassed it. Everybody was in favor of it.
It was pretty unanimous.
Were you against it or for it?
I was against it.
So it would have been you two. I was for it because I don't want to I don't want to get screwed. I don't want to lose somebody because of COVID. Like,
That's the point of playing the game, though.
no, not in Dynasty.
Players get hurt. That's why not have unlimited IR spots.
I would say this. It would suck to have to drop DeAndre Hopkins or Saquon Barkley because they have COVID and you have to field an active roster to avoid penalties like losing future draft picks.
That is the thing.
And-
We're very
How
cutthroat.
would you have 17 people on your roster? How would one player gain COVID?
Well,
If
What
you
would
were to
happen
get
if
5
you
or
had 5
6.
of them get it?
Yeah.
Now you're in a pickle. Stars like shit. All right.
and the rules
I mean,
are
I
if
just think you should have to drop one. Drop
in the
your worst
league,
one.
if you
Your
don't
worst sick player.
if you don't start an active lineup, you get a strike. If
Yeah.
you do it twice, you lose your first round pick. If you do it 3 times, it's like
You could be
consideration
kicked out of
kicked
the
out.
Is there any gray area on that?
There's
Like
been in
if
the
they
past
get-
a little, but not really.
If
It's pretty
if
ironed
it's
out.
like 11:55, oh, scratch on this player, and they didn't put him in. Do you give him a pass?
There was
No.
a pickle this year.
we
though.
just had that situation this past year where one guy had Mariota and his backup,
Matt
which
Schaub
would've been-
and Matt Ryan.
Schaub and Ryan.
yeah,
And he had actually, in MFL, taken the liberty to add the backup player. So, like, you have 2 backup slots. He picked Ryan, put him in the backup. Game time decision.
Ryan played. I think that's bullshit because why would we even have the backup spot there if it's not usable? So I plug my guys in there every week
Same.
just in case somebody's hurt.
which
Like I'm doing my
you-
job.
So
which in
then,
the
does that
past-
app automatically put someone in if
It
someone's
doesn't.
out?
That's
No.
the thing.
So what's the point of having a backup slot?
That's
It's
the thing.
just
That's what we brought up.
you just have to.
Which we did
Do it
end up
yourself.
changing that.
We did.
That was a
Yep.
real change, not because the app will now automatically put it in, but now the commissioner, so either I or my co-commissioner, will have to go in and manually swap a backup player in, assuming you put them as a backup designation.
Yeah.
So-
or if they're out,
Yep.
because there has been some like game time,
Late in the
Or-
4 o'clock. Or
and if
7.
it's something coming up through the week where you don't know if he's playing, you need to have an eye on that. But there's been some surprise scratches
Yep.
late that have screwed me in the past.
Especially
I was like,
since
"What?
they
He's
got
not
rid of
playing."
the probable
Kicker
questionable
pulls his hamstring right
designations.
before
Yeah.
the game, and they go in without a kicker. And you're like, "Why didn't they announce that?" Oh, because I don't have this game on TV, and they're not talking about kickers on ESPN.
The probable.
That's why I didn't know
questionable,
until the game started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
But-
the other one that passed? Another.
The other one, the last one, and this is one I disagree with the most. You need to have a personal friend or person come as a proxy to draft for you if you can't make it.
Yeah, so they'll basically be
What
the
the
mouthpiece for you,
It's-
but that you have to have somebody physically there. If it's not you, you have to have a friend or relative, some third-party proxy show up and draft for you, which I think is so stupid because in my mind, like how we did it before, Brandon was gone and I'm the commissioner, right? So what I was doing was when his pick would come up, I would text him and say, these guys have been picked, and you obviously had a list of guys you wanted.
In
And
my
you said-
head.
Right. And you said, okay, give me this guy. He texted me the pick, I announced the
wasn't just me.
pick was made.
Dodged it
Yeah.
last year.
Everybody wants to do now, and if you can't be there, you have to have somebody in person for you. That's not a league member.
I mean, this is 2020. We could put Brandon on the TV if we wanted to put
Right,
Brandon
the
on
power
the
of
TV.
technology.
We could put Brandon on Zoom on a phone sitting in the
You
corner.
could probably
like-
put him on this fucking
Yeah.
copier.
Yeah, well, I've been on that guy.
I think
Obviously,
all three of
it's
us were
more
opposed to
fun
that.
when
I
people
think we were.
are there.
It-
but I don't think
It
that-
passed like
What's-
7 to 6 or 7 to 5 or something like
It
that.
was.
It was such a load. The argument I was having with this one guy, he's like, well, then Scott can see who you draft, and he can have an advantage by knowing, oh, this is your team, and this is who he took, so he's going to be looking at running back later. I'm like, you can fucking do that in person. I look at your team on my computer, and I see, oh, Gage needs running backs. Gage is drafting after me. He took a wide receiver. I'm going to draft a running back.
Too?
Well, all the rosters are on computer.
No, the draft's not online.
Draft's live.
In person live,
Yeah.
But it's...
I just don't understand how you telling him when it's your pick, if you make it in a timely fashion, and you telling someone else who's sitting there is any different.
I don't even think I can... I think it passed. I can't even be on the phone and do it.
Right.
Even with the proxy person?
No, I can't. I can't have they can't have me on speaker, and I'm sitting on the phone listening, and I can't even make my pick if I hear it through my phone.
Why?
I don't get it. I thought it was a load of shit.
I don't even want to be in this league anymore, guys.
I was there for that vote.
Not mentally.
I'm trying to remember.
I missed the whole second half of those rules.
I think you were
there
outside.
was one other one though that you forgot. The idea of we completely eliminated maximum player position limits.
Oh yeah.
So there's no.
I was too irate about the other one.
Now there's no max player position limit. If you want to have
That one
of your
passed?
17 players, if you want to have 12 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 kicker, 1 defense, you can do that.
I think that is
Versus
a fine rule.
I do too. I like that rule.
I don't know. Why limit it?
Yeah.
Don't, this is America. Don't tell me what to do.
10 running backs on
No,
his roster
the only
right now.
limitation you have is you somehow have to be able to field a starting lineup out of 17 players. Outside of that, you can mold it however you want.
I just think it allows people to hoard a certain position.
Yes, and create a fucking shit market
It
that's untradeable.
creates a
But
monopoly.
his team becomes shit. He
Right.
still can only play 2 to 3 at each position.
Right.
but
So if he has 10, that doesn't help him.
if he
It
has
makes
10
it a harder
running backs,
decision for him to make.
And
It hurts
6
everybody
of them
else,
are
though.
Starters, yeah.
Yeah, but then there's going to be more wide receivers available.
but you still have to field 2 running backs, and if 3 people have 7 or 8 running backs on their roster, and over half of them are starters,
There's going to be a lot of good wide receivers then.
But you still have to
2011
put 2 running
Giants
backs.
1 year 5. I am ashamed of this league right now. I cannot believe these votes got passed by me.
They didn't maybe get passed by you, but they were league-wide votes.
And
I
they
don't
went
like
right
the
over
minimum. I've never liked that.
I was over them.
Yeah.
I don't like having a restriction on a number. Like I can only have 6 wide receivers. Why?
Even in a Madden fantasy draft, when it tells me you can't draft this player till you fill other positions, fuck you, I want this player.
Yeah.
Does that?
I'll fill this other position first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
didn't know
tried to
that.
draft like my 6th wide receiver before I drafted anyone else. And they said, no, you can't fill your other positions.
Fucking Madden.
But so that was some of the.
Don't tell me what to do, Butch.
The
that
one
was some
that
of the league stuff.
the one that didn't pass though was changing it to a super flex, which I'm extremely glad about.
That's never going to pass.
It
so what
shouldn't.
that was going to be would be drop a kicker or a defense and add an extra flex position, not a super flex, just a flex.
That will never be
The
passed.
super flex would never pass because nobody's going to go for allowing 2 quarterbacks to be started just because that changes balance in the league.
The whole dynamic.
Yeah, but an extra flex position, I'm personally in favor of. Well, the question is this though: would you drop kicker or defense? What would you rather drop?
Rather drop kicker.
I personally think I would rather drop defense.
Defense
Exactly.
has a better
Neither-
chance of getting negative.
No, not in this
Not
league.
no
No.
negatives. We
No.
got fucked by that before.
You only get points
That's
for
true.
interceptions, sacks, fumble recoveries,
There's no
touchdowns.
yards and points
No,
allowed or
defense
anything
is
like
pretty
that.
vanilla in this league. Scoring
defense can only help you. Kickers can still screw you. Missed
Yes.
Kickers
extra
can go
points
negative,
hurt.
but defense can't.
Kicker points really hurt.
I think I would personally rather. I don't know.
I like it. I've won games off of kickers and defenses.
Exactly.
And I like the fact that it adds that extra dimension to it.
I think the biggest
It's a
argument
wild
to
card.
keep kicker and defense is because then, like they said, the people that were against doing this, they were like, it's fun if you have your kicker going Monday night and like you need 12 points out of your kicker. You're gonna watch that game, or your defense is going on a Monday night and you need 8 points out of them.
Yeah.
You
It gives
hope
you
for some
reason to
sacks.
watch
You
it.
want some fun stuff.
Yeah,
It's pick 6. Let's
and
go.
I
let's
personally,
go.
that one was actually close. I think that one
It was.
failed 7-5.
I think it did.
Like that, and
I'm just
that had been brought up. I don't know if you were even in the league yet, but that one had been brought up, and it failed
In the
miserably.
second or third year.
I think this one passes at some point.
no chance. No. My strategy for next draft is going to be completely different.
Now that he knows there's no minimums. So running back, 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 running back.
No, I will
run it back.
wait to partake in some favors and get to business first.
Kind of
'Cause I think
favors
I
you
could've
talking
made
about, Gage?
A better trade first as well.
I feel like it is important to go into it, especially when you're talking league changes. It's very important to go into it like No cloud of judgment. I hate the idea of going out on the golf course before and drinking and playing golf for 3.5, 4 hours and coming in all hammered when you got these are big time decisions to make.
A super flex changes the whole dynamic of a league.
It does.
And the reason I was against it is because you're 6 years in.
And I would
Now you're going to change. That changes a
position
lot for
caps
6 years
going
in.
really fucking grinds my gears. I would have campaigned against that so much fucking harder.
Well, you would have lost. Even if you would have voted no, which I don't remember if you did or not, it passed with flying colors. That one was easy pass.
Like the COVID spot, I swear we were voting for one COVID spot.
We were initially, and then somebody said, if you're going to do one, why not do a bunch? Like, why not
Then it
have
was
it
another
unlimited?
vote.
And then that was the vote on that, and that passed too with flying colors.
I'd say part of the thing is, and we won't talk about it too much, but fantasy leagues are supposed to be fun. You're supposed to go in, you're supposed to enjoy things. A draft is supposed to be an enjoyable experience. It was not for a long time. It was an hour and a half of bitching
Well, that's what
and
happens when you
arguing.
trade away your first pick, sucker.
No, not even that. It was an hour and a half before we even drafted because
Yeah.
of all the complaining and the arguing and the animosity between 11 people and one guy.
You should have sat closer to me, man.
No, that was
could've been
that was
time
closer to the
traveling.
action. So I don't remember where I was going with this, but that wasn't that much fun.
Animosity, it was rough. But Shanny was telling me the whole time, we're not drafting until 8:30, and that's what happened.
And I will say, I did my part of getting in on the bitch fest. I
Yeah,
was in it
let's
pretty
hear
hard for
about this
while.
a little bit more.
But I remember where I was going with this. So if you go in, we had 3 different conversations going in at one point because people were arguing with each other.
Yeah.
3 people were outside. 3 people were on one side of the table. 2 people were in the house. Other people were on the other end of the table yelling at each other, all having different conversations. And so rules are starting to get voted on and passed, and nobody's in the right mind to sit around and do it. And that's what makes it tough, is because everybody was bitching and moaning about it, and you couldn't
And
sit
at
there
one
and be an
point-
adult.
I forget which one it was, but it was basically unanimous, and they were all arguing.
For the same thing.
They were all on the same side. Everyone was bitching,
I feel like
yelling at each other,
personally,
and they
I
were
feel
all
like
agreement.
something has to change next year, and I don't know what. I'm gonna have to look into it.
Order to the fucking court before the draft.
Right, which
That's
I try
gotta
to
be-
do, but it just doesn't happen. I do try to grab the bull by the horns. I feel like I have a pretty loud voice. Like I feel like I have an ability to take. But
could've
when you
cranked
have
her a couple
when you have
notches.
11 drunks, though, it just doesn't work.
Hey, I wasn't
Sorry.
a drunk.
You need to
When you
sit
have
there
9
with the
drunks-
co-commissioner, bring order to it like a judge.
I think I have an idea moving into next year, but I do have people within the fantasy community that I feel like have taken this on before, and there's a way to do it. I think number 1 would be to send out a draft before the draft, send out a draft of what you're going to be talking about so people can kind of formulate an opinion before they come in.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 2 number 2 would be, like you said, more order, and be like, hey, point number 1, and then maybe open it up for 5 minutes for people to make arguments. Let everybody debate for 5 minutes. At 5 minutes, shut it off. Here's the vote. Or if you have a change to make you feel would be beneficial, speak now. There's a way to do it,
That's assuming that people don't get off on rabbit trails, because
which they would.
you start talking about a topic, and then all of a sudden it's the next one, and then it's...
Throw around the speaking ball. You know, you can only speak when you have the ball.
There's got to be a way to do it somehow, for
Order.
sure. But yeah, that's the fantasy league. Anything else to add to that, Brandon, as far as the passing and not passing draft goes?
I
How
think
miserable it was, how great it was.
there's pros and cons. Again, it's supposed to be fun. I want to be able to go there and have conversations and draft talk with adults and not children.
Don't trade your first pick.
Well, there's that.
I don't think there's much to add as far as my argument goes. It was a pretty straightforward argument. I don't think we really need to touch on it too much.
No.
It was just fantasy shit.
Yeah.
You and
Yeah.
the evil empire.
Yeah.
What was the argument?
The text messages earlier in the day.
It's about how he brings them up, and his argument was how Scott responds back to him.
Yeah. Which I didn't believe for a second that I responded right away, which I didn't.
You didn't.
It was
I-
4 later.
It was me.
It was 4 text messages
No,
later.
Shanny was first. I was like, no, dude, I have the text right here. He's like, Scott texted me first. I said, on my phone, it shows Scott texted 20 minutes after. You'd already sent 2 messages. It wasn't Scott. The facts are the facts. I was first. He was first. I was like,
Oh, his team name is Facts, Not Feelings.
yeah.
What a shit team name for a guy like that. All right.
All right, let's roll into, you have an ABC.
Yeah, I do have
Let's
an
rip
ABC
through
this
it.
week. My ABC for the week is this. I get it pulled up.
It was a hell of a draft. I loved it.
Trades
You'll hear more in the
trades
bits.
are my thing.
If you have more picks, maybe it's more fun. Too late picks or
Don't trade you first.
well, there's that.
So it's a pretty simple one. It's not even an ABC. It's a debate. Who has a better season, straight up season, in 2020? Teddy Bridgewater or Cam Newton? Star Lamar, you start.
Teddy BH2O is my guy. Has been since I watched him beat my Gators in a bowl game in college. Cam, they both need to create rapport with the people on their team. I think Teddy has a better cast right now. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, any quarterback would want him as a running back. I just think he has more places to go. Cam's been on the decline. Teddy's been, since his injury, back on the rise. So I'm going with Water.
I'm going to jump in here and take Cam. Or you're just talking for wins, or how do you mean better season?
Better statistical season, better overall quarterback season. Who has a better chance of being a Pro Bowl quarterback of the two? Who has a better chance of winning MVP? Who has a better season?
I'll take Cam. I think Teddy does have a better supporting cast overall, but I think Cam's is better built to his abilities. I don't think Teddy is going to get the most out of Carolina's offense. C-Mac's going to have a hell of a year.
Love it.
Love it.
I'm going to take Teddy Bridgewater as well. DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, C-Mac, Ian Thomas. I think they have other wide receivers too, but it doesn't matter because he got those four guys right off the bat. He's going to have a good year.
Yeah.
He's going to have people to throw to. Cam's got Edelman, who's good, and Harry. We don't really know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then Mohamed Sanu didn't really show up last year.
The Panthers already made this decision for us, and they chose Teddy for more money than Cam. So
yeah,
they had to believe that Teddy was going to have a better season if they cut Cam because of him. So
they could be playing for Trevor.
I personally think that Carolina's offense is built beautifully for Teddy Bridgewater. I think it's a perfect fit for him. He's got the best running back in the league. DJ Moore is a perfect receiver for Teddy Bridgewater. Curtis Samuel's a good receiver for him. Give me Carolina. Give me Teddy Bridgewater.
They got Robbie Anderson now too.
Oh, God, I forgot about him.
That's who it was.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's a good offensive scheme fit for Teddy Bridgewater.
They have the best offensive line in football.
Colts do.
Or Dallas.
Carolina's top 5 then?
No, I don't think so.
Or they're one of the worst, aren't
Are you
they?
talking about the Patriots?
No, I'm just saying that you're
No,
saying
they
if this team's
traded-
built around Teddy Bridgewater. They better have the best blocking in the NFL. I mean, they gonna need it.
It's not a great
Them
it's actually
knees
not
are
a
a little
great-
fragile.
It's not a great O-line.
You
I
They
don't want
traded
to
their
see you
best
running around
offensive
in
lineman
practice
in the
and
offseason.
Yeah.
Non-contact injury again.
Listen,
He gets the ball off fast.
it's not the line that
He
he needs to
does.
worry about. They need to make sure their blades are sharp on their lawnmowers and they keep that field fucking crisp and clean.
He gets the ball off fast. He's mobile. He's a pocket mobile quarterback.
Hey, C-Mac is going to have a hell of a year. I know that. That's about as far as I'll go in
So that's the
Carolina.
ABC of the week. I think it's a good one. Star Lamar, do you have a what if or no?
No.
No what if this week. That's good.
All right.
Last week's was good enough to get you over 2 weeks. So if you want to listen to a what if, go to listen to last week's episode again because I know you listened to it last week too.
So do it twice. All right. You guys ready for the Budhole 5? I know Gage is getting his notebook out. He's ready.
Yep.
Fresh sheet of paper. Not writing on the same one, right?
No, gotta
Okay.
keep those notes fresh.
Fresh. Watch out for them fingers, though. All right. Budhole 5. Everybody knows how to play, but I'll explain the rules anyways. You have 30 seconds.
35.
The fuck's that's my bit start.
Yeah, you
weren't
missed
even
it.
paying attention.
I was trying to find a fresh piece.
30 seconds to
35.
name the top 5 in this category. Doesn't matter what order they're in. Can be about sports, video games, conspiracies, whatever, entertainment. If there is a tie, we're going to go to the next 5, so 6 through 10. If there's a tie between those rounds, what we're going to end up doing is whoever can name 11 first. We'll go snake draft back and forth. Time starts after I read the first question. In 2019, which players had the most targets? In 2019, which players had the most targets? $15 seconds. 5,
All right.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Alrighty.
All right, we'll start with. Might as well go with Gage's Rage.
All right. Your boy had Michael Thomas, Nuke, Devontae Parker, Amari Cooper, and C-Mac.
Ooh, C-Mac. That could be the dark horse.
That's a
I didn't
sneaky
even
one.
think of tight ends or running backs.
You want to go next? Or you want me to
I
do
can.
some?
I got
Star?
Michael Thomas, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Kenny Galladay, and Julio Jones.
I
Scott.
had Michael Thomas, Nuke, Travis Kelce, Julio Jones, and Zach Ertz.
All right, well, we had a pyramid. We had one person with 2, one with 3, and one with 4. Gage's Rage, you had 2.
Yeah.
Top of the pyramid. Hey, that's where you want
Everybody
me.
got
Golf
these 2,
stars.
the top 2. Michael Thomas, 193. DeAndre Hopkins, 172. Scott,
You had 3.
you had 4. So Scott is the winner.
Woo!
It was Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Travis Kelce had 158, Edelman had 158, and Julio Jones had 157. Congratulations.
Not even thinking
Thanks.
of other positions. Good job, Scott.
Edelman.
First running back obviously was McCaffrey. He was in at 10, 142.
10 overall.
10 overall.
Okay.
In between there was Allen Robinson, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Tyler Boyd at number 9.
Wow.
It's a little surprising.
Where is he on the receptions list?
Oh,
Not top
He
nine.
was number 76. No, he was probably top 40 for sure. Somewhere 25 to 30.
Let's see. Tyler Boyd. So McCaffrey was 10th in targets, but he was tied for 3rd in catches.
Well, he's a running back. I'd hope so. I would
Boyd-
hope yeah.
Boyd was 14 with 90.
He had a nice year for not having much of an offense. He had a nice year.
He did. He had a very good year. So that was it. That was Budhole 5. Thanks for playing.
Well,
You're welcome.
with that being said, thank you for checking out the podcast. Make sure to go check out our website, officialbudhole.com. Check out our t-shirts. We have Teespring t-shirts that we have to sell.
And we have baby onesies.
We do.
We do.
Clean
Clean
my
your
butthole.
butthole.
They're awesome. Babies are born year-round.
Clean my butthole onesies.
Yeah, we're on PayPal now too, right?
Yeah, send us money on PayPal. You can send our Venmo money to Star Lamar.
You know the info. Go jerk off.
Bye.
Bye.
Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Budhole. Check us out on Twitter as well, @officialbudhole, Instagram, @officialbudhole, TikTok, @officialbudhole. And if you have questions or comments, email us at officialbudhole@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out our Teespring website where we have sweatshirts and t-shirts, and our website itself where we post blogs and whatnot. Both of the links will be posted in our description for the episode. Please leave a rating on whichever platform you're listening on, as well as make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can continue to bring you the great content we create, as well as make it even better for the future. We love you all. Peace out.